Welcome to Mondays with Marlo. I'm so excited that we have Kelly Cutrone today. She's a fashion show producer. She's a famous fashion publicist. She's an author. She's everything we need just a few days before the Fashion Week begins. We're really excited to have you,
I'm
Kelly.
so happy to be here. You're a legend.
We've read your books, and I love that your business is called The People's Revolution.
Yeah, I wanted to call it that because I felt like the world will change when we change ourselves, and the initials are PR. So
That's great.
Yeah, it works in everywhere but communist countries. It's not so fun when you're trying to get into China
No,
to
I
go
guess
to a clothing
not.
to go to a clothing fair at 6 a.m. in Guangzhou.
Well, we really need your fashion and career tips. So we've got lots and lots of questions. And one of the first one is about tips. So everybody write in. We're here live, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. This is from Helen. What are your top 3 fashion don'ts for the workplace?
Top 3 fashion don'ts for the workplace. No piercings. If you have an eyebrow piercing, a belly piercing, we don't want to see it. Next, décolleté. We don't need a lot of boob action. It's very distracting in the middle of an interview, and it sets the wrong tone. Mm-hmm. And then also, I think, ill-fitting garments. I think it's important to kind of tone it down when you go to an interview and allow your energy and your knowledge to adapt to the work environment and not come in with, and no lame, no gold lame.
Very good. Throw out the lamette. Okay, this is from Trish Patterson. How do you go about figuring out what your personal style is?
I think one of the most important things for your personal style is to really get to know yourself and be comfortable with who you are and what you like. So almost turn away from magazines and really just spend a little time in a store looking at different fabrications and then say, really thinking about how do I want to express myself and what am I trying to communicate. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you're looking to score a hot guy, you're going to dress a little different than if you just are going to work or you don't want to draw a lot of attention to yourself on a busy street in a city like New York, for example.
Right.
So I think don't be intimidated by fashion and don't be intimidated by the economics of fashion.
And also what looks good on you.
Yeah, what you should wear the clothes, they shouldn't wear you.
Right, exactly.
So I guess ask yourself, am I wearing this outfit or is this outfit wearing me?
That's right. This is from Marcy. Do you have any tips for a woman who's trying to start her own small business? Now, you started your own business when?
I started my first business when I was 22.
Wow.
So I didn't know anything about what I was doing. I think sometimes having no knowledge about the business that you might want to start can be as helpful as really doing your homework. So I think one of the things that women have more developed is intuition than men. And I think it's really important to think about, do you want to have your own business? Because having your own business means you have to be a psychologist, you have to employ people, you have to know about the labor laws, you have to know the cost of doing business, you have to deal with accountants. There's a lot that goes into any business, whether you're making ice cream or clothes.
So the first tip is educate yourself about how to run a business.
How to run a business. And really maybe ask another woman who owns a small business if you could shadow her for like maybe 3 days or a week.
Oh, that's good. So a second tip would be to shadow somebody
who's doing it.
Who's already
That's
doing
right.
it. And what would be a third tip?
Third is put together a great team. Really, go to your bank, make sure that you're well funded. And if you're not, try to come up with a good business plan to either have some angel investors and or how you're going to create enough revenue from the business it is that you want to do to constantly reinvest back into your business.
Great. Those
because
are great
you're really
tips.
going to need to keep
I
reinvesting
hope that helps,
back in your
Marcy.
business.
Hope that helps.
Do it, though. It's a great time for entrepreneurs.
That's great. This is from Valerie. Hi, Kelly. I noticed from your show that you expect a lot from interns, just as much as you would expect from paid employees. Can you give some tips for people interning on how to get noticed and get hired?
Well, I think if you want to be noticed, it's good to come early and leave late. That's one of the first things I notice in my office are the kids who are there on time or even decided to use their own initiative and come in at 7:30 because they had work to do and they wanted to be organized for the day.
Right.
And then now, like at Fashion Week, we work till like 2 a.m. sometimes. And it's the kids that are staying, not the ones who leave at 7.
Right.
So the first thing is, come early and stay late.
Right.
The second thing is remember that your boss is a person too. Right? One person I hired and made my assistant just because she would come up to me and say, could I get you some water? Or can I offer you something to eat? And it's not that I don't want to go get my own lunch.
Right.
I'd love to take a stroll down West Broadway for an hour and a half in the middle of the day. I'm too busy.
Right.
So a lot of times I'll have to eat at my computer. So, have some empathy and understanding for your boss and what they're carrying on your shoulders. And the other thing is to relax and enjoy your job. Because when you get hired, people hire you because they want you to stay.
Right.
Isn't that a crazy idea? Everybody thinks that you get hired to get fired.
Right.
But we don't. We hire people because we want them to stay.
Oh, we hope they'll be good.
That's right. And after you put 3 or 5 months of training into someone, it's like a pyramid scheme.
Right.
Everybody grows and flows and goes up.
Exactly. That's
So.
great. Great advice.
Thanks.
This is from Marcy. What is a challenge you faced at work, and how did you handle it or solve it?
I'm challenged every day, Marcy, in my job, and I came up with some mantras, which is time, energy, and money, and usually my problems are related to one of those three. I'm too tired, I don't have the labor that I need at my company or within myself, or there's a problem with money. Mm-hmm. We might have to cut a payroll for $65,000, and then, we're owed $450,000. So then my mantra is time, energy, money. How much time am I putting? How much energy am I putting? How much money am I putting? And then my answer to those things is what's the problem and what's the solution? So, sometimes I just pray. Sometimes I do like disco nap mantras where I like drop down into child's pose to just quiet myself to try to find an answer.
But
one
you
time,
face it.
Well, one
You
time
can
during
face
Fashion
it.
Week, one problem that we solved is we put the wrong postage on all of the designers. My assistants had put, this was years ago, the wrong postage on the invitations. And so the way that we solved it was we had to go to the post office and beg the postmaster to give us back our bag of mail.
Oh, my.
So begging
Did
also
they?
helps. Yes.
Wow.
I know. But they've changed the rules there a lot now since September 11th. So
Right.
it's
So, yeah, I can't
not
do
as
that.
easy to get into the
Yeah.
into the postmaster's vault.
This is from Val Domenico. What are 5 must-have fashion items for 2012? Spring, summer, fall, winter, whatever
Well,
you
we're
want.
about to see what the designers are going to say because
Right.
Fashion Week's starting now.
Right.
I think that you should always have like the basics, a good foundation of a wardrobe, which is, a nice white shirt,
Right.
a nice black shirt, a twin sweater set, like a nice little tank and a matching cardigan, a pencil skirt, an A-line skirt,
A black suit.
a trouser, a black suit.
You have to have a black
Right,
suit.
with a pant and the skirt to go
Right.
back to it, because then you can just wear it with jeans and you can
Right.
mix and match it.
And you can wear it for happy occasions or sad
Right.
occasions. You can mix and match it.
Right, and I don't spend a lot of money on designer clothing that isn't sold at Christie's or Sotheby's at auction.
Really?
So, no.
How great.
Well, yeah, because if you just buy Vuitton and Cartier and things like that, then they actually have and maintain a value,
Right.
right? But if you're just going to go out and spend $800 on a pair of pants, the value goes down as soon as you walk
Right.
out of the store. It's
Yes.
kind of worse than
It's like
both.
buying a chair.
Plus, there's so many great stores now.
Right.
And I always say get your trends and your accessories, with the exception of Hermes bracelets, which I
Right.
love.
Right.
At places like Target and H&M or, street vendors. It's easy to get great jewelry and accessories really cheap.
Right. This is from Kim Short. How do you teach your daughters what to believe in or how to instill female power in them? Oh, I love this question, Kim. Thank you. Yes, that's what we have to do. How do
We do.
How do we empower them? How do we let them know that there's so much power inside of a girl?
Well, I think role modeling, first of all, the way that I role model with my daughter Ava is, I have a live-work situation, so she sees all of us, and we're mostly women, working and making money and commanding, attention and being successful in our work. So that's one thing, role modeling. Your kids are watching what you're doing every minute, right? They know everything you're doing. The second thing is I tried to keep her off Disney princesses, and I couldn't because Disney got to my daughter before I could make it stop. So one of the things that I started to ask her is what would have happened to Belle if she didn't meet the beast. So I try to figure out, because
that's
every one of those
interesting.
stories has
Yes.
this imaging of their lives
That's what we
just
did, Frida,
miserable,
you
and
and me.
then someone shows up and makes everything okay. So I've spent a lot of money on her education, and we also do a lot of things. She does volunteering. We go and we volunteer at a senior citizens home, and she does some gardening on an ashram with Amma that I'm involved in. We're constantly talking, and I also never tell her I'm going to save your clothes for when you become a mom.
Oh, yes.
I don't use any programming.
Right.
So we always call it her time box. Do you want me to save this and put it in your time box, not for when you have a baby?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the time box. That's wonderful. This is from Desiree. I loved your book, and I'm so inspired by your success. Could you share 3 tips on achieving your goals?
Achieving your goals.
Our audience loves tips.
Okay.
Loves
Well, I have a
tips.
lot of tips today. Let's do
Loves
my
tips.
tips. I think one of the first thing is to really believe in yourself and to know that whatever it is that your inner voice is telling you to do that's positive is the voice of God within you, and that you should do it. And I also believe, number 2, do not share your dreams with people who do not want to support them. If you're in a neighborhood or an environment and, you're living, in an impoverished area, and you say, I want to move to New York and I want to be a fashion show producer. And somebody goes, that's never going to happen for you. Of course it is. Human beings can do whatever we want, right? Salmon have to swim upstream.
Right.
They don't say, I don't know about you guys, but we're going to go downstream. We're going against gravity. We can do whatever we want. So most successful people come from the middle of nowhere. That's the truth. When you meet people that are hugely successful, a lot of them will tell you that they grew up under unfortunate circumstances.
Right.
Like Vidal Sassoon is a great friend of mine, and the hair guru.
Right.
And, Vidal grew up in an orphanage. And you would never think when you look at the world of Vidal Sassoon that this is a man who was put in an orphanage.
So the first tip is don't...
First, believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
And if you have that positive voice, assume that to be the voice of God talking to you.
And second, don't listen to people who tell you can't do it.
Don't share your dreams with people who aren't going to support them.
Right.
So the positive version of that would be share them with people who can help you hold your dreams.
Right.
Like, I know that's going to happen for you. That's amazing. That's so great.
That's right.
Okay? And then be realistic. Start to move in the direction. You don't try to get out of a chair. You either sit or you stand. So action, action, action. And when you get knocked down, just get back up and keep going.
Right. And I think make a game plan, too.
Yeah, have a strategy.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, if I meet this person or if I take this course or if I go to this place for a job, an intern, so that you have some kind of steps. Otherwise, it's just a dream. Plans make dreams come true.
Right. Action, action, action.
This is from Debbie. When you judge models on America's Top Model, what do you look for?
On Top Model, we look for a girl that is not only highly photogenic, but that is going to have what it takes from a personality standpoint to make it in the modeling world. Is she nice to other women? Does she have a good attitude? Can she endure a 14 or 16-hour photo shoot where people call her honey?
You have to be healthy.
Healthy, exactly. Very well-rounded. Slightly outgoing and can communicate, because a lot of modeling jobs are on television. You have to be on a commercial, you have to be able to speak. So those are the main things, and how they do in the competition, which that's what kind of makes the show interesting.
Right. This is from Gracie. What are some tips you have for sensitive people who want to succeed in tough industries?
Well, if you're a yogi, it's a great way to work out your character defects. I'm very sensitive. You must be. We're Scorpios.
That's right, of course.
Whoa.
But we're also strong.
I wrote a book called If You Have to Cry, Go Outside, and other things your mother never told you, but it's because I used to cry all the time. I was really sensitive when I started out. And, whether it was, feeling weird standing next to Gisele Bundchen and having to look at my own insecurities about my body or how I looked next to someone like that, or if I had the right training to be at dinner at a palace in, Marrakesh. Everybody's insecure or just fears about business. Oh my God, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose everything.
Right.
And so if you're sensitive, or people are so mean too, just make it happen. Click.
Right.
But I think the entertainment and fashion industry is a great place if you're sensitive, because it allows you to work on a lot of your character defects. And I'm pretty detached these days.
So if you're sensitive and you cry, I guess you mean you cry a lot or something, or get your feelings hurt. You sort of have to toughen up.
You have to toughen up. I mean, there's the word, it's just business. When somebody employs you, they're giving you a check. That's what they're going to give you. If you're expecting anything more, then you're delusional.
Right. And sometimes you'll get somebody who'll say thank you.
Yes.
Or good job.
Yes, but if you don't have the expectation, you won't be let down.
This is from Brianna. This is live. Hi, Brianna. Welcome.
Hi, Brianna.
Kelly, I loved your book, If You Have to Cry Outside. You talked a lot about the mistakes you made in your life that ultimately led you to success. What are 5 mistakes you think that all young adults should make?
This is a really good question, because this is really punk and really fun to do. Well, I think that they should do something really shocking and humiliating so they can learn that they don't want to do those things anymore. So I think that one of the things that you should do is probably, I don't want to call them mistakes, because I wouldn't see them as mistakes, but I think that all young adults should do whatever they want until they're about 32 or 35 and not really worry too much unless you have a baby. So if you don't have any responsibilities, I think it's a really great time to follow your dreams. So if you were raised to be a dentist or a doctor and you want to drive a Harley Davidson or an Enfield through India, then I think that you should go get on your motorcycle and drive through India. It's really a great time, to be between 18 and 32. You have the whole world open to you. And so I think that's something you should definitely do. I think that you should spend money on a great piece of jewelry or watch, just something that's just one really nice item. I always like to say, if you have one nice item, you can go anywhere. So whether it's a Birkin bag or an Hermès Collier de Chien bracelet or something, just blow some money. Also blow some money on a great vacation. I think it's really, really good. And I don't know.
These really aren't mistakes.
I don't really think that you can make any mistakes if you're following your intuition. And I think that if your parents are encouraging you to do something that you don't want to do, you need to stand up and tell them no.
That's right.
I think a lot of kids are living their life out there for their parents.
Right.
And they're not really doing what they want. They're doing what's expected of them. And that makes for a boring
You know, we go in the park a lot for our Have to Ask series, and one of the questions I asked a great many people, women mostly, you know, if you had to do it over again, what would you do differently in your life? And almost all of them said, I would have gone after the career I wanted. I wouldn't have taken certain courses in school. I would have, you know, my dad told me this would be a way to make the most money, and if I had to do it over again, I would have followed my own heart.
Right.
And you don't want to have to be there. You don't want to have to wish you did something. You know, you want to figure it out now what you want and get everybody to support you. And if it won't support you, do it anyway.
Yeah, just do it anyway.
This is from Isabel DeLuca. What new trends do you see coming, and what sort of fashion trends are making their way out? Oh, so what's coming in, and what do you think's going out?
Well, I think the 20s and 30s is going to be really big this season, like The Great Gatsby. Everyone's kind of going into like F. Scott Fitzgerald land right now. But I think...
not flapper dresses.
No, but wide leg pants, satin, like muted pastels is going to be really big. But now we're going into fall, so hopefully a trend that we're going to see is no more fur. Hopefully, I know that Stella McCartney's doing a really good. She's doing a really good video for PETA for Fashion Week. So, the other thing I think monetizing, like really getting really good deals, is a new trend. I don't think that people want to spend a ton of money anymore on clothes. So, some of the fashion trends that I think are on their way out are neon jeans. Like, I think that's almost done. Thank God. Horrible.
Was it ever in?
Right now, it's very in. Oh. But I also think that self-expression should be a new trend for people. I think that you guys really need to get in and make your own fashion, you know, and you need to look at all these amazing different magazines and everything online and make your own style, you know, and figure out what you want your style to be.
Here's a wonderful question from Michelle Hurst Attillo. Being able to trust your instinct is obviously very important. How often have your instincts been wrong, and in hindsight, what were those signs?
My instincts are only wrong in love. They're always they're always right on everything else. Yes, and in hindsight, there were plenty of signs that things were not right.
That's funny.
My instincts in business are impeccable.
How good. How great.
Yeah.
This is live from Mark. Hi, Mark. Welcome. What
Hi, Mark.
doesn't go with black, he wants
Nothing.
to know.
Black is a combination of all colors.
Right.
People think I don't wear color, but I am actually wearing all colors simultaneously. That's what black is.
That's right.
See?
The black took over.
It's the Sicilian in me. I can't help it.
Everything goes with black. This is live from Samantha. Is it a must to move to New York to pursue a career in fashion, beauty, and PR?
Well, to be honest with you, if it depends on what you want your lifestyle to look like. I mean, if you want to be in the money game and you want to be a player, New York City in the United States is definitely the capital of fashion and beauty. There are some really good agencies in LA that deal with celebrity dressing. So if the idea of driving through Beverly Hills with $5 million worth of jewelry and a screaming actress is appealing to you, I highly recommend LA. Otherwise, Paris, London, Milan, Moscow, or Tokyo.
But not other large cities like Chicago, San Francisco.
I don't want to say no, but they're not. That's not where the game is. You know, people at Vivienne Westwood don't wake up in London and go, let's go hire an agency from San Francisco to do our PR. I mean, we're in the media, the center, you know, the media centers here and celebrities in LA. So for now, that's still the game.
This is live from Tyler P. Jones. I'm a fashion designer trying to break out of Chicago, but I'm broke. I've started my business fresh out of high school, but nobody takes me seriously because I just graduated high school. So what should I do?
You should apply to be on my show on MTV. We're looking right now to, you know, get kids with young businesses and trying to find a way to help make their businesses work.
Oh, how great.
I think what you need to do is get a job, a job, while you're doing your art to help support it, because being in the fashion business, you're going to be broke for a really long time. We always say that we're masochists.
Being in the acting business, you're going to be broke a long time.
It's not, you know, it's not the yellow brick road that people think it is. So I would do whatever it takes, you know, get a job and start supporting yourself and get your own place and stay out there and find some cool young girls in Chicago, like the Chicago socialites and, you know, the it girls of Chicago, to start wearing your stuff if you're doing women's. I'm assuming he is.
Great. This is from Sam Beckett. What are your thoughts on the whole Toddlers and Tiara pageants? I was watching these two pageant moms today on Dr. Phil, and all I could think of was, damn, these ladies need some Kelly Cutrone advice.
I am disgusted by the people who do Toddlers and Tiaras. I think it's the most disgusting child abuse I've ever seen. I just can't even imagine spray tanning a 4-year-old and plucking their eyebrows and, you know, putting like little booby implants and like skirts on them and spending all of our family's money to go around the country to make myself feel good. I think it's I watch it and I'm shocked. I had to stop watching it as a mother and a feminist. I was just like, I can't even believe that this is what they're trying to instill into their kids. I mean,
so it's just a money-making thing, really, isn't it?
It's just, I think it's a twisted thing. The moms are always like 500 pounds and have no teeth. And it's like this thing that they couldn't achieve on their own. And then they're like trying to make their daughters into these like freaks.
Right.
I mean, it's really freaky. Jeremy Scott's one of my clients, and we've gone back and forth about doing a fashion show, which is like a take on Toddlers and Tiaras that we just thought would be funny, but we still haven't done it. Pets? No, with like little kids, just all like blinged out in designer clothing. But I think it's disgusting.
It is. This is live from Stephanie. How do you handle not getting along with an employee, boss, or coworker in a workplace? What is some advice for working through it instead of just quitting or firing someone?
Well, if you have the power to fire them and you're in an at-will state, then you can go ahead and fire them if they're making your day horrible. But if they're a coworker and you're not their boss, I think one of the things that you're going to have to do is employ, some sort of technique that will work for you to look the other way. Because, again, you're there to do work. You're not there to be friends. You're not there to hang out. You're not there to tell jokes by the water cooler.
Should you talk to them about it?
It depends on what it is. I mean, it's kind of, we're not really sure, what the issue is. But, I mean, if you have an issue and they're doing something that applies to the job, I mean, you can't say, I don't like the way that you breathe. Right. Like, I've sat next to people on airplanes, like, literally, and I can't stand the way that they breathe.
Right.
So if it's something like that, you can't really go...
But sometimes you work with somebody that doesn't have good work habits, or it's kind of getting in the way of your being able to do your work, so that you can say,
True. Well, I would say go to them first.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get a result, go to your upper boss.
What I hate is having things sort of fester inside of you and grow and grow and grow until finally you're destroyed and the other person is still doing this thing that was bothersome.
Right.
So it's good to bring it up.
Right.
In a nice way.
And it's also good to get solutions because you just have to get your job done.
Exactly. This is live. Hi, Colleen.
Hey.
Hi, Kelly. What's your advice for someone who's looking to make a geographical and a career in their 30s, someone who's starting their career in their 20s?
Oh, I think it's a great time for you to... I think if you're 70 and you want to change your career, it's a great time. I mean, I've had so many different incarnations in my life. I've been a tarot card reader. I've been a publicist, a fashion show producer. I was a music publicist. Just keep going. Yeah, go for it. Move and get a new job. I mean, just do it. Also understand where you're going and, don't take an apartment off Craigslist. And and you're older. So I think it'll be easier for you to be more successful.
Right.
And people really aren't that discriminatory about age. I know like in fashion, sometimes kids write me like, I'm 35. Can I start working in the fashion industry?
Right.
The thing is, do you want to work in the fashion industry at 35? Because, it's an all day, all night, 24/7 kind of job. So if you have 3 kids and you need to be home by 6 or 7, I think,
It's not the right job.
Not the right job.
This is live from David. Hi, Kelly. What are some tips from men's fashion? Men don't have that much guidance for fashion in the workplace or socially. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
Well, I think for the guys, like, going to get some nice shoes, American men tend not to wear very nice shoes, and they wear sneakers a lot, which is disappointing.
And me too.
The other thing is to wear your pants at an appropriate level.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you want to know what I mean, like Justin Bieber, like his pants are horrifyingly low. And if my daughter dated a guy who came home with those pants, I just like don't want to see your boxers. I know. It's like the girl version of like the purple Casabella thong coming up. Yeah. We don't really want to see that. So, and the other thing I think I'm a real sucker for is a nice shirt with French cuffs. Cufflinks on men are sexy. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
I think.
Does Phil Donahue wear cufflinks?
Yes, he does.
See? I think cufflinks are really sexy. And then also get clothes that are age appropriate. Like we don't need to see your ripped PIL t-shirt that you had with Johnny Lydon on it from college when you're 45 and you're pretending to be a biker on the weekend in my town of Cold Spring. No.
And so, if you're going to wear jeans, press them every now and then.
Like rag and bone jeans are really awesome.
But check out rag and bone jeans that look like you slept in them and then you slept in them again and you slept in them again.
Check out Nicholas K. They're one of my clients, and rag and bone is really good. Nice, clean, dark, indigo, salvage denim.
Great.
Cool shirts.
I find that sexy. I think a really cool, neat pair of jeans and a
I like a pea coat. I like a pea coat on a young guy.
Yeah.
Nice twill coat.
And corduroy sport jackets are
Yeah,
nice.
they're nice.
Like
And if you're
that.
preppy, I think Brooks Brothers has some really fun.
I love Brooks Brothers.
I mean, you can get corduroys with hummingbirds embroidered on them. I mean, who doesn't want to wear that?
Not me.
Oh, and socks for men.
Yes.
Paul Smith socks. Men, I think that ankles are the décolleté. So if you see a guy in a suit and you're in a business meeting and then all of a sudden he crosses his legs and you see these amazing Argyle socks or striped socks, I'm a sucker for a good pair of socks.
Well, you know he's paying attention.
Yes.
This is from Melissa. Some do's and don'ts for ladies working PR in male-dominated industries, especially in situations where social and business collide.
Well, I think first of all, if you're a woman working in a male-dominated industry, it's best not to drink when you go to work functions. Rule number 1, do not consume alcohol, Xanax, or any other mood-altering substance when at a business event.
Right.
I think that's a really good.
Right.
Rule number 2, don't date your colleagues because it's usually not going to last and you're going to be stuck.
Right.
And the third thing is don't worry. Dress appropriately.
Yeah.
Yes, dress appropriately. If you want to know why guys are staring at you and you're wearing a micro mini and a pair of like Louboutin pumps and you're like bending over your desk, there's probably a reason. And the other thing I think is don't really think about men. Think about them as your coworkers. Don't make it a separation. You know, they're going to have advantages because they're male and they're strategic in a certain way. And you're going to have advantages because you're a female and you're strategic in a certain way.
Right.
So stop separating it by gender and just see them as your coworkers.
Right. I don't think you should wear things that make you look all curvy and that's a bad idea. And I also don't think you need to dress like a guy in order to go to those kind of things.
No.
Well, there are some women who think, well, they better wear a suit and a thing and be all buttoned up. You still look like yourself.
Right. I think it's important that we understand what it means to be feminine. And to be feminine is to be ruthless, to be smart, to be kind, to be compassionate. It's all of those things.
Right.
You know, you don't have to turn yourself into
to somebody else.
a Marlene Dietrich 1940s cross-dressing film.
This is from Susan Settig. What was one of the most crucial decisions you made that you think contributed to your success? Does one moment stick out to you the most?
The moment that contributed to my success was when I went in to see my Republican father in Syracuse, New York, and told him that I was moving to New York City. And he said to me, well, you must be really rich to be moving to New York City because that's an expensive city to live in. And I said, I have $141.32. And my dad wrote me a check for $2,000, which was probably like $200,000 to me now. And he said, this is the only money I'll ever give you to live in that city. I will come and get you. Anytime you want to come home, just call me and I will come and get you. But we will not support you on any other level than this. And he gave me that check for $2,000. And I went and I didn't know anyone or anything. And that was really a moment where I just really felt like I had to go to New York. I felt like that's where I was being represented. I knew no one. I came in a Toyota Corolla with all my clothes in a garbage bag.
And what's the first thing you did? Get an apartment?
I got an apartment through a friend of mine's from college. Her cousin lived on 6th and Spring. And I had a 6th-floor walk-up for $600 a month on Avenue C between 10th and 11th in 1987. And I was terrified. When I got to 6th and Spring, it was kind of a different Soho then.
Right.
But, I mean, the Lower East Side was really dangerous.
And $600 wouldn't take you to too many months.
No.
Yeah.
I only had 2 months rent.
Yeah, right.
But then everything changed because I met Anthony Hidden-Gast. And then I just kind of went with the flow. Like, I never really had a lot of plans. But the thing that was most important was, you know, I was willing to take risks and I was fearless and I was willing to go with my intuition. So that's always what I'm always talking about. Is like, you know, there's only one fingerprint, right? That's ours. We're like we're unique beings. We're unique expressions of the divine. So express yourself, you know, do what you think to do and feel to do. It is really that easy, by the way. I mean, it's like so easy to do what you want. And the truth is that when you're in your truth, the world starts to align and kind of give you messages, right? That this is a good thing for you. You start getting positive reinforcement and see results.
I completely agree. This is live from HT. Hi, I'm 45. I want to get into advertising. All I'm finding are internships. Am I too old to intern? Any advice?
No, you're not too old to intern. No. You're never too old to intern. But I would look into new media agencies now because the ad business is changing so quick and so fast that, you know, and try to find something locally that you can do just to see if you like it before you make like a big move or something.
This is from Brenda Martin. What person was or is your greatest inspiration?
I'm really into Eleanor Roosevelt. I think, human rights is
Me too,
she
me too.
co-authored the Declaration
Yeah.
of Human Rights. And
Yes.
and we should yell at the UN. You guys should write the UN because they said that they were going to hang it up in every public institution. And you can never. I put the Declaration of Human Rights in my book because
Well,
it's
this
like
is your book. This is
yes,
your
but
new
I'm not
book?
trying to promote it.
Oh,
We
but
can
we
put
should
the
let
cover
people
down.
know.
It
We like
doesn't
people
matter.
to know it.
It's okay, but human rights is just so important.
Yes.
And all these people are killing in the name of their God. But if we can't even agree that we all have the right to be here.
Right.
Like, I want to end, like, the concept of race, like, why they always ask you your race. Like, why can't we just have the race of everyone?
Right.
Why do we have to be so identified by
Right.
gender? So, Eleanor Roosevelt, I love Eleanor Roosevelt. And my mom, she's nice.
And this is from Valerie.
And St. Bernadette was amazing.
Yes, yes.
I also am kind of into St. Bernadette because she's never aged.
This is from Valerie. You're very strong and tough-minded. How do you react when you know something you've done is a mistake? Now, this is a really good question.
I take responsibility very
I know
quickly.
a lot of people who cannot admit a mistake.
Oh, I do. I'm the first person to just be like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I'm so
Right,
sorry. Please
good.
forgive me. And then I feel bad that I made the mistake because then I have to be nice, extra nice
Right.
for a while to make up for the mistake.
Right. But that's good. But you face it. This is from Dora. Hi, Kelly. What's the key to staying strong when it seems like everything isn't working out?
For me, the answer to that ultimately became having some sort of relationship with the divine, whatever your concept of God is and however you get to that. At the beginning, it was like, oh, I think I'll drink. Oh, I think I'll try drugs because, like, my life sucks and blah, 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 blah. None of those really help my life get better.
No.
So I think the answer is, like, having some good sort of, like, yoga, meditation, some sort of relationship with God or some really good friends that you can talk to who, and also remember it's going to change.
It is.
Our
That's
moods
right.
and our realities are like the seasons. I mean, the promise of life is everyone's going to get a bite out of their ass at some point.
I think what's really important about what you said about going to drugs or drinking is that if you do that, it's going to get in the way of recognizing the thing that's just around the corner.
That's
You'll
right.
be too blotted out to even see it.
Yeah.
That's really what happens.
True.
We only have time for a few more questions. I'm getting the hook
Okay.
here, but there's some that are very important. And this is from Betsy K. Kelly, do you have any tips for single mothers who are also launching careers? It just seems undoable sometimes.
I'm a single mom since birth, so I know this one. The thing is, hopefully get a job where you can afford some kind of good childcare because you're really going to need help, I mean, and the other thing is if you don't have enough money to get good childcare and your kids are in school or whatever, have a friend come over and babysit so you can go do something for yourself. I think very rarely do I see kids that aren't doing well. It's the moms that aren't doing well.
Right.
Like the job's going fine, the kids look great, and like mom hasn't had a massage or been out for a social night in a really long time. My nanny took my daughter this weekend, and I have to tell you, I had so much fun by myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just really nice to be in my house alone. I was like, yay!
They call that a staycation, right?
Yeah, it was a staycation.
All right, one more live from Patricia. Are you concerned about cyberbullying for your daughter? Do you talk to her about bullying? And how do you think parents should handle bullying these days, whether they're the parents of a bully or the bullied? We're very much into this on our site. We really care a lot about bullying.
Well, first of all, my daughter has had a laptop since she was 3 years old. I bought her a word book when she was 3. So we spent a lot of time on the internet, and I'm really straight up about her. And she's been bullied sometimes at school. Like, there's a bit of a...
She's 9, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, she goes to a great school, but they have, like, they're 9, and 9-year-old girls in Manhattan are, like, 15-year-old girls in some other places.
Right.
So they have a hierarchy, like a mean girls hierarchy, and she's also sensitive. So the first thing is that we talk about it. The second thing is that she already knows to stand up to a bully. When you stand up to a bully and you say, you know what, it's not okay for you to talk to me like that, stop it. Not a lot of times the bully stops.
Really?
3, that's one of the signs that if you stand back to a bully and you tell the bully that you're not going to take it from them, then a lot of them will back away. That's like another thing. The other thing is everybody should read all the signs for bullying. And I've always, since she was 2, told her we don't have any secrets. Because a lot of times when kids are being bullied, they're ashamed.
Right.
And they don't want their parents to see them in the light of being like the loser kid at school or the inferior child.
Right.
Like they want their parents to think that they're doing great. Because
Right.
that's what your parents always say. Like,
Right.
how's school? Are you doing great?
Right,
Or how are
right.
your friends? Are they great? Like they answer the question
Right.
before letting their kid
And
do
what
it.
would you do if your child was the bully?
I would grab my child by the neck
There are
and
kids
sit
who
my
are
child
bullies.
down. I don't mean like choke my
Yeah.
kid, but I would just be like, hey, we're going to sit down. And I would seek therapy for my
Right.
child if I knew that was going on.
Right, yeah.
And I would also look at myself and see if any of that was going on in my own home because guess where most bullies get their
That's
behavior
right, that's
from?
right.
Their parents.
Okay, one last question from Hermania. What have you learned from starting a business as a woman to give advice to other women who want to start a business?
I think the most important thing is to stop thinking like a woman and just start thinking like a person. It's like the question is like, oh, is it harder for a woman to start a business? Depends on the business. You know, I guess if you're going to sell tractors and you know you're from Chicago, it might be a hard thing.
Right,
But
right.
I mean, I think that the first thing is that you have to follow your intuition, start a business because you want to.
Right.
And you know, there aren't that many. Listen, there's sexism and there's racism, but you can't really sit there and think, well, because you're a woman, things aren't going to go as well for you or you're going to make less money.
Right.
Right? I mean, we've made a lot more money
Right.
than a lot of men would ever dream of
Right,
making.
right.
But, I just think just stop thinking about being a woman and just start thinking about starting a business. 'Cause
That's right.
being a woman and being a business owner really have nothing to do with each other. They're completely different.
Okay, now I know I keep saying one last question, but there's so many wonderful questions. I hate to leave anybody out. I promise this is the last one. Okay, this is for Paige. When someone applies to work for you, what things stand out to you on a resume? I keep reworking my resume, and I'm trying to make myself look good on paper, but it's hard.
Well, I'm not really a big reader of resumes, so I really notice the person when they come in right from the door. I'm usually looking to see how that person enters and what their energy is like, and if they start to stand back and get scared because there's a lot of young women working there, or if they tend to light up and smile. And then I really think it's really about getting the interview. And then once you get to that interview, really do your homework, know a lot about the company. Like before I came on your show, I read all about you. You know, I read all about you. You have 5 stepchildren. You're married. You know, you're friends with Gloria Steinem. I read everything about you. You run St. Jude. I did my homework. I knew where I was going, and therefore I could reference you with the respect that you deserve. So do your homework before you go.
She
Isn't
knows.
Marlo Thomas.
She's so
queen.
great. She's so good.
She's the queen. We're
No,
doing
not-
gender again. See, she's the king.
Yeah, but that's very good advice. to
Yeah, but
read
do
up
your
on.
homework.
Yeah, I did on
learned
you
that
as well.
from David Cotico.
I did
My
on you
manager
as
used to
well.
always start to tell me, like, always know where you're going.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah.
There's so many more questions. I'm so sorry, but maybe you can write. How about, do you have a website that you can write to?
Yeah, they can write on my Facebook page. We can answer some more. We're giving away
Great.
some books today.
Yes, we're giving away books. The name of the book is Normal Gets You Nowhere.
second book.
That's for sure. And the other book was called?
If you have to cry, go
Oh,
outside.
that's right. That's right.
And other things your mother never told you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much,
You're
Marlo. It was
wonderful.
really awesome for me to meet
So many
you.
tips. We just love tips.
All
I
right.
hope you learned a lot today. I hope you got some of your,
Bye,
your
everybody.
questions answered. See you next time.
See you later, New York
Bye-bye.
City Fashion Week.
That's right. Bye-bye.